All right, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing. Welcome everyone to a completely impromptu live stream here on YouTube. This is something I thought about maybe trying out for a little while. I know my Let's Plays on Sundays aren't always for everybody, and I've been wanting to try to get some more content here, potentially on Tuesdays. Unfortunately, time's usually kind of limited. I'm not that far ahead in terms of my Let's Play recordings and whatnot, still playing catch up with that. So it's hard to do some dedicated content on Tuesdays. However, I do realize that not everyone can catch me on my live stream on Thursdays, and obviously not everyone, you know, follows me over at Twitch. And so maybe this once in a while here on YouTube on, say, Tuesday morning or something like that can sort of fill that void. I can try to get some different content out there for those of you guys that maybe aren't into whatever I've got posted on Sundays. So like the last 2 weeks I've done Doom 64 videos, Let's Plays. Next week will be another Nintendo property, but maybe not every weekend you're up for whatever I've got uploaded. So maybe Tuesday can sort of fill that void for you. So with today, we're going to be playing some Super Castlevania IV and Castlevania Dracula X for the Super Nintendo. I should theoretically be able to run through both games within a couple of hours. Funny enough, I actually just cleared a copyright claim from Konami in regards to my Contra Let's Play from about a month ago. So I'm pretty much guaranteed to get another copyright claim by doing this live stream. But I was like, you know, I don't have any Konami Let's Plays planned for at least a month, so I'll dispute this this claim when it comes through. So, oh man, I don't even know where to start. First off, for those of you guys that are going to tune out pretty quickly, you know, as long as you catch the first few minutes, that's cool. Shoot me some feedback in the comment section below once the archive hits, and let me know your feedback on this format. I mean, do you like the idea of me live streaming more often? I know there's, again, some of you on the other side of the world that can't catch me on Thursday nights. Maybe you're working, maybe you're not, maybe you're just busy. Do you want to see more of this? Now, I don't plan on doing this on like a weekly basis or bi-weekly. I don't plan on having to schedule for these early morning Tuesday streams, but it is something I wouldn't mind doing every now and then because I just got home from work. A lot of times I'll get home from work and I'll just stream on Twitch. But, you know, with YouTube, I think it would be nice to have some more content uploaded. You know, so Sunday Let's Plays, Thursdays live streams, maybe something else on Tuesday, and maybe I can mix up some stuff on Tuesdays with some of those being live streams. So chime off in the or sound off in the comments below on the archive once it's posted, and let me know your thoughts on that. So, but welcome Matthews, Santitas, Mighty Squirrel, and Waspinator to the stream. I don't really expect to get a ton of views because it's 8 o'clock in the morning as of starting this stream, so it's quite early. But first off, I wanted to say thank you to Thorsten Bach, who actually submitted a pledge on Patreon last night. He's actually the first backer I've had in a couple of weeks now. So Thorsten, if you happen to be watching, your name's gonna actually not be in my Let's Plays for the next 2 weeks because those are already pre-recorded. So just a heads up on that. But as long as I see you're still backed, you know, from then on, then I will have your name in those videos since I haven't recorded those ones yet. But thanks again, I really appreciate your support, and let's jump in to Castlevania IV. Oh yeah, so we're gonna be playing this on the default difficulty mode. We're just gonna start fresh in the beginning and just skip through a whole bunch of this stuff and just get right into the game. So normally when I play this game, I try to enter a password which takes me to the second loop of the game, which is more difficult. It's not really... I don't really think it's that much more challenging, although there is more going on. So, you know, there's more for me to attack and things like that. And so as a result, while it's not that much harder for me, if at all, it is just a little more interesting to play. Because for me, more things going on to a certain extent, or up to a certain point, it usually equates to a more interesting experience for me personally. So... Gonna do any zips. I don't think there are any zips in Castlevania 4. I know there's... Yeah, I don't think there are any zips. I know there's some, like, tricks you can do to, like, propel yourself higher up into the air. There's damage boosts and things like that. But I don't remember there being any zips. I watched a speedrun of this last year, actually. I mean, I could be wrong. It's been like a year since I watched a speedrun of it, so... Actually, no. Did I watch a speedrun at HDQ this year? No, I'm pretty sure it was last year. Either that or it was SGDQ last year. I'm not really sure which. Mil specs, nice. So we get another Castlevania 4 player on our hands here. That's nice. So Castlevania 4 is one of those games that I played religiously as a kid. I didn't get the game, actually, personally, until a couple years after it was out. I think it was, like, late 93. I want to say it was, the Christmas of 93. Potentially Christmas of 94, but I'm pretty sure it was 93, because this was, like, before Donkey Kong Country was out and things like that, and, but I distinctly remember that year because we got Mario All-Stars with the system. My dad had purchased the Super Nintendo, I think, from a coworker, it seemed like. I think that's how the story went, and the coworker must have picked up the system that year or something like that, and he had a few games with it, including Castlevania 4 and Mario All-Stars and whatnot. But Mario All-Stars came out in 93, so I'm pretty sure that's when we got the system. And once I got the game, oh man, it was one of my most played Super Nintendo games. I did, one of my best friends did have this game, so I did get to play it when it was new. But, you know, obviously, since my friend didn't live exactly right down the street, it wasn't like I could just go and play this game anytime I wanted. But still, you know, I did get the game a couple years after it came out, and played the living hell out of it. It was just one of those games. I was always a fan of Castlevania. You know, I was there when the early ones came out, you know, the first 3 in the NES, and I played those quite a bit. When I had the chance. I never actually owned one until I was probably in middle school, in terms of the NES Castlevanias, but I did play them whenever I had the chance. I especially borrowed Castlevania 3 a lot from one of my neighbors, because they owned that one. And so, loved Castlevania when I was a kid, and so when Castlevania 4 hit, it was just like mind-blowing, you know, because being a fan of the original NES Castlevanias, seeing the improvements and just the upgrade in visual and sound fidelity, if you want to call it that, was just really something to behold back then. Stage 4 has a zip, apparently. Interesting, Waspinator. Darth Adios, afternoon for you? Yeah, perhaps. Early morning for me. Yeah, so I don't speedrun games, guys, you know that, so I don't ever assume I'm going to do any zips or anything like that. It's not to say I am, you know, against trying something like that. The only game I've tried learning speedrun techniques from is Ninja Gaiden, and there's a couple of, like, damage boosts I've picked up just on my own over the years. But no, I don't do zips or anything like that. Now, it's like I said, I'm not against it. It's actually probably something I will eventually learn, but my attention's usually taken up by other things, you know, practicing for other Let's Plays and things like that. So, but I know Waspinator, he speedruns. I do not. I am in a, I guess you could say, a different category of gamer. I don't speedrun. I think speedrunning is awesome. I don't have the time for it. So, to any of you guys that do speedrun, I tip my hat to you, because it is a ton of work, and you guys have to put some serious time and effort into that. So, kudos to you. But I'll have to go watch another speedrun of this game, because I don't remember that zip you guys are talking about, and it's not to say it doesn't exist, it obviously does, since 2 speedrunners are telling me. Actually, I don't know if Nicholas is a speedrunner, but... yeah, I'll have to go check that. I probably saw it, I just don't remember it. Because the way the guy was playing, he just, man, it's just everything was a blur. He was just zipping through these things so quickly. Not like zip, as in, I should say he was flying through the game just really, really quickly. Matthew, yes. Nintendo officially announced the SNES Classic Edition yesterday, and it's confirmed to have Super Castlevania IV on it, which is awesome. And you know, I kind of wish it had a couple more games on it, but man, it's a pretty killer lineup. It's like pretty much every title on there in my eyes is like an A+ title. I mean, even like F-Zero and stuff like that. And they've got Star Fox 2 on it as well, which I think is really incredible that they're offering that to the public. I'm actually pretty stoked about that, because I actually recently thought about trying to finally buy a reproduction of it. So if I can get my hands on an SNES Classic, that's how I'll play the game. Although there's always the possibility they could eventually release it on the Switch. You know, once they roll out the Switch Virtual Console or whatever the service is going to be for the Nintendo Switch. Is Castlevania IV on the Switch in any capacity, says Waspinator? No, not at the moment. There's no no classic compilations or no Virtual Console yet on Switch. The closest we've got is the Neo Geo Arcade Archives. And those are really the only retro games on the platform, but those are arcade games technically, not console games, or at least not console games in the same sense as like the Super Nintendo. They already sold out in pre-orders. I thought, see, this is exactly what happened the first time, Mighty Squirrel. Like, and the first time I was like lukewarm in the idea of NES Classic, because I already have an NES and a flash cart and stuff like that. But the Super NES Classic actually has some games that are incompatible with flash carts at the moment, like Mario RPG. I think Kirby Superstar is not compatible. Star Fox 2 and Star Fox actually aren't compatible because of the Super FX chip. Yoshi's Island, I mean, that's 6 games right there you can't play on flash carts, so I'd totally be down for the device just for those. And like I said, I was thinking about picking up Star Fox 2 as a repro anyway, but you know, a Star Fox 2 repro is going to cost me 60 or 70 bucks anyway, so you know, why buy that when I can just buy the SNES Classic? So, hey Tony. Chasing the Classics, how are you doing? So Mighty Squirrel, where did you pre-order yours at? Out of curiosity. How long do I think it'll be until it gets hacked? I have no idea. I mean, it depends on if Nintendo allows the USB connection to also be a data connection. That was the issue with the NES Classic, is was by having the USB connection also be a data connection and not just provide power, and that's it, you know. So that was the big issue with the NES Classic, and this is just pure speculation on my part, but I figured personally that maybe one of the reasons they took the original Classic off the market was the fact that people were buying it to pirate games, basically. And a big company like Nintendo, they're not going to keep selling a device that a lot of people are buying to pirate. And it was very easy to do the hack. It was like anybody could do the hack. You know, it's not like anything can get modded. Just about. You know, almost anything's going to get modded. But how easy is it to do said mod? If it's really hard to do said mod, I don't think like a company like Nintendo would have as much to worry about, because not that many people are going to actually be able to do it. But the hack of NES Classic was apparently super easy, and people were just buying the thing to just load up all sorts of games on it. Which I myself, you know, I kind of fall into that category. I have a flash card, or flashcards for most of my systems, so I'm kind of in that same group, but I actually wouldn't have bought an NES Classic to load games up onto it, though, because, you know, if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to use original hardware anyway. And I feel like that's one reason why Nintendo potentially took it off the market. I could be totally wrong, you know. Maybe there were parts shortages or something like that. I have no idea. But generally for a company that size, it's not kosher to provide a device that enables rampant piracy. So I know Nintendo's always very much been very anti-piracy for quite a long time. So if they can, you know, make the Super Nintendo very difficult to pirate or very difficult to hack, then hopefully we'll end up seeing it on the market much longer. I would personally, like I said, I would personally love to get an SNES Classic because of those games I can't play on my flash cards. But you know what's funny is, like, I had no interest in the NES Classic when it first came out, but a couple months in, I really, really wanted one. I guess it was just NES nostalgia, you know? They really managed to hit the nostalgia buttons with that thing, even though I've already got an original NES. Just, man, that cute little design, and, you know, it just, I'm always the kind of person that feels really glad when companies pay homage to their old products, basically. Like, one thing that just, like, made me all giddy inside was when Microsoft announced backwards compatibility with certain original Xbox games. Because, like, I stood in line for the original Xbox on day one, out in freezing cold weather. I've got fond memories of that platform. It was a great system, and I love it when companies sort of, like, acknowledge, like, what got them to where they are today. And for Nintendo, the NES was the big one. And, again, for Microsoft, it was the original Xbox, things like that. So there was, like, the nostalgia factor talking for me as well with the NES Classic, but what are your thoughts on that, guys? Do you think that maybe Nintendo hacking, not Nintendo hacking, but people hacking the NES Classic was the reason they took it off the market? I mean, there was a point where they were like, oh no, we're gonna keep making them, yeah, and then like 2 weeks later they're like, no, we discontinued it. So me thinking about that, I was like, Nintendo, or okay, you're confusing me here, Nintendo. Oh, Mighty Scroll didn't pre-order it. Okay. Yeah, the NES Classic was, yeah, it was just using different hardware, and it was just using emulation to achieve what it was achieving, so... And the SNES Classic, I have no doubt, would just be more of the same in that regard. Ooh, that was close. Oh! What did I get hit by? I never die in this part. Ever. Like, really, truly ever. That was weird. Well, so much for our no-death run. I was feeling pretty good about that. Yeah, guys, I don't know if the NES Classic, I don't know if the hardware inside was more powerful than an original Wii. The original Wii is a pretty beastly little emulation machine once you modify it, which is very easy to do as well. Something I thought about doing, but I was like, I'll probably never use it if I do. So I've never bothered with trying to hack my Wii. Wii U, on the other hand, I've heard that you can hack Wii U's, apparently, I think. But I've got a lot of, like, actual, like, legit purchased software in there, and I'm not sure if I really want to hack a Wii U. I might wait until Nintendo rolls out their Virtual Console and for the Switch and see if there's any pieces of software I can sort of transfer over to the Switch before I do anything with my Wii U. Well, Matthew, the SNES Classic isn't out. I wouldn't speculate too far in advance, man. We don't know if the SNES Classic can be easily hacked like the NES Classic did. So I wouldn't really jump to conclusions in that regard. No, I'm there with you, Nicholas. I hope eventually flashcards can run the entire library. But I think it's going to be a rather complex endeavor to do so. I mean, maybe if some of these FPGAs inside the flashcards can, you know, be more powerful. It's actually probably a topic I shouldn't even talk about because I'm not really that technologically inclined. But I know a lot of the flashcards use FPGAs and, you know, to sort of, you know, pull off what they're doing. But some of them might not be strong enough to, say, replicate the Super FX or whatever chip is in Mario RPG or something like that. You know what I mean? So... not true, Mighty Squirrel. The Wii was completely busted open, and you know what they did? They released the Wii Mini that you couldn't hack. It had no online connection. I don't even think it had an SD card slot on it. So they pretty much locked that sucker down. The Wii also wasn't a $60 device. Nintendo could still stand to sell actual software on the Wii. People that were hacking Wiis, a little more work had to be done if you wanted to actually pirate legit Wii games. I don't think Nintendo saw it as large of a problem. You lost interest in the series? What? I mean, 8-Way Whipping is great, but man, you're missing out on some really fantastic games. Your Retron 3 really struggles with Super FX games. Yeah, I mean, those clone systems, they're not the greatest. I remember my Retro Duo being fine for Super FX games, if I recall correctly, but the Retron 3, I'm not sure if it's the exact same clone hardware in there, or if it's a newer set, or a different set, I'm not sure. Yeah, Nicholas, so with an FPGA, you should theoretically be able to mimic any, you know, pretty much any processor that it can, you know, that it can handle. But FPGAs aren't exactly cheap either, you know, the stronger they get, so... I mean, who knows what the future holds? I mean, flashcards in particular, they haven't really been around all that long. I mean, there's been like multi-carts and things like that, but, you know, the flashcards, how we know them today, they really haven't been around all that long. They're still being developed and perfected, and FPGA technology is improving. Costs are coming down, things like that. So, I mean, there might be a day where there's a flash card that can handle everything, you know. But we'll see. Oh, I didn't mean to pick up that axe. So if you're trying to just blaze through Castlevania IV, you really don't want the axe, you don't want the knife, you don't want the holy water, you want the cross, or the boomerang. And you just want to get that maxed out with your Roman numeral 3, so you can throw it 3 times at once, or 3 times in a row without having to wait. It's like right now I've got the axe at ×2, so I can at least throw that twice. But it's really all about the cross. It just rips through enemies really quickly, it does lots of damage. And it comes back to do more damage, which is amazing. Oh, I was holding up, but he didn't latch onto the stairs. That's not cool. You just want to make a retro pie and call it a day. Oh, you lost interest when it stopped being linear. Gotcha. Well, I mean, even then, you still missed out on a lot of good stuff, Davey. I mean, Symphony of the Night, Order of Ecclesia, Dawn of Sorrow, Area of Sorrow, Circle of the Moon. And also been me too. I mean, I love both styles of Castlevania. I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed when it strictly went Metroidvania. But, you know, I eventually got over it, because they're still excellent games as well. Oh, you can't go back down here if you've already gotten it. Okay. So that's basically a secret area down here. You open this up, it reveals that stairwell you guys saw me go to. Yeah, someone linked me to Next Machina last week. It looks kind of interesting. I think the price is a little over my range though for a digital title. So if it's something that's like on Steam or something like that, I'll definitely add it to my wish list and see if it goes on sale really cheap a couple years down the road. Speaking of Steam, that Steam sale, man. I still need to buy some games from that. I spent some time yesterday looking through the library, the Steam library, and seeing what games were like $1 or $2 a pop. There's actually some really good deals on there. Games that are like $10 marked down to $2 or something like that. You know, $15 and $20 games marked down to $3 and $4. So I'm definitely gonna be picking up some stuff. So as of doing this this stream, the Steam sale is going on for at least another 5 days or so, I think. Yeah, it's what, Tuesday? Actually, no, it might even be a week. I think it ends. Does it end July 5th? It might actually be going on for another week as of doing this stream. Yeah, Waspinator, even $10 is too much for me. Now, if it's like something that's like modern, cutting edge, you know, like Doom 2016 for $10, yeah, I would buy that if I didn't already have it. But something that's more like indie, retro inspired, I don't really pay that much for them usually. Mainly just because it's gonna sit in my library and I'm never gonna play it, most likely. That's how a lot of my Steam purchases work. Although with this new computer build, that could obviously change. You know, I have been doing more PC games on my Twitch stream since I built this machine, what, about a month ago now. And, but I'll definitely take a, you know, closer look at it later on down the road. Yeah, Castlevania Rebirth is nice. I like it quite a bit, actually. We're gonna have to do an updated Let's Play of that. I also plan on doing another Let's Play of Castlevania IV, and this is just gonna kind of fill that void from now until then. But it's gonna be a different kind of Let's Play of this game. I'm gonna challenge myself, and which should make it a little bit different than what you're watching right now. Yeah, for those of you guys that also prefer linear Castlevania games, don't forget about Dracula X Chronicles on PSP. It's a remake of the the PC Engine Dracula X Rondo of Blood. And it's a really good remake. Lots of changes they made, and it's just really, really cool. But nice bonus is that it's also got the original Rondo built into the game as an unlockable. And if you're the kind of person that does like the Metroidvanias, it's also got a reworked version of Symphony of the Night on there too. You know, it's funny when you guys mentioned Nex Machina. I thought, you know, like you were talking about like an updated version of the Generation Nex console. I mean, with all these like clone consoles coming out, I was like, oh man, this would be a crazy time for an old, probably defunct company and products to have a rebirthing of sorts. But no, it's totally unrelated. it's a game. Yeah, I've seen The Escapist, Waspinator. I'm not usually into puzzle games. Well, I should say Thinking Man's puzzle games. I like more arcade-style puzzle games, you know, like block droppers and things like that. Like I was playing Puyo Puyo Tetris with Diamond Longplays on here a couple weeks back, and that was a ton of fun. I like stuff like that. More complex, like, you know, really thought-provoking puzzle games. It's not usually my cup of tea. It's not to say I can't play them, but, you know, I always had a high preference of playing, you know, faster-paced action games. Yep, Castlevania Chronicles is great as well. I just figured everybody already knew about that since it was old. You know, that game's almost 20 years old now, as far as the PS1 version's concerned. remember buying that the day it came out. People at the game store looked at me like I was insane or something. Like, why are you buying this? It's old. It's like, it's Castlevania. That's why I'm buying it. I like Castlevania, thank you. I hope you like Castlevania too. If you don't, then your life would be better with Castlevania. Switch, Mighty Squirrel. You didn't see my comment last week? You posted something on Facebook about getting the PS4 version, and I was like, oh, I have the Switch version. Hyperkin let a lot of people down, both retailers and retro game fans. According to Nicholas. I know Hyperkin has done some shady stuff in relation to the Retron 5, but I'm not really sure what else they've done. Oh, dude, Mighty Squirrel, I'm feeling the same way, man. I do so much streaming and YouTube stuff and Twitch stuff and the Buffalo Pinball stream on Wednesdays. All my days just blend together now. I have very little personal time. So my days just kind of blend together as well. Especially at work. Most work nights are very much like the ones that came before. Every day is exactly the same. Yeah, I need to do a revisited Let's Play of Castlevania Chronicles as well. I mean, pretty much all the Castlevania games I'm going to be revisiting. And I'm going to also be going through some of the ones I haven't done before, like Symphony of the Night, some of the DS games, some of the Game Boy Advance games. The N64 games, Castlevania Chronicles once again. I want to try to do that on, was it the second loop? Apparently the second loop gets really hard. So... The Escapist is just a neat little find out how to escape prison retro game. It's definitely difficult in spots though, to the point of yelling. Right on, Waspinator. It's okay, Davey K. Chances are most of us here are actually old, so you can feel old with us. Oh wow, that sucks. Nicholas, sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's no good. Releasing a product like that that's basically broken. That's, yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, I don't usually keep up with that stuff. I mean, like, I do all original hardware now, so, like, I see third-party controllers, and I'm like, I mean, if I really want a controller, I'm just gonna buy an original, you know? But I know, like, a lot of third-party controllers now are wireless, and people are all about that, and... You know, as someone that's, like, very conscious of, like, input lag and things like that, I'd rather just go wired and have the best response time and whatnot. I'm already going through, like, upscalers and stuff, which adds a little bit of extra input lag. Not a ton, but, you know, it's a frame or two. And then you add a wireless controller in the mix with it, and it's even more. which is one reason I actually have the 8-bit Do controllers for both Super Nintendo and NES, and I have their retro receivers as well, and I don't use them because, you know, I notice the input lag, and that's not even going through the upscaler. So, well, yeah, so, I mean, it's not to say there isn't, like, bad third-party stuff, but I don't really keep up with it like I probably should. I mean, I have a retro channel here on YouTube, and I know some of you guys probably would like to get my opinion on these things, but I just don't have one because I don't keep up with it. That said, I mean, in terms of actual quality, the 8-bit Do stuff is decent. I think they're a little overrated, personally, but they are on the nicer end of the third-party controller spectrum when it comes to, like, retro controllers. They do still have some issues, though, for sure. Not just, like, the input lag. The input lag, you know, it's wireless. What are you going to do about that? But the build quality, I don't think is as good as people make them out to be. Maybe they're really solid, so maybe build quality is not the best term, but the parts they use, I'm not as big a fan of them as others are. So, yeah, Hyperkin, yeah. You would think they would try to do a better job. I mean, they're probably... I'd say they're probably the most well-known retro clone manufacturer now. I mean, there's Retro Bit, but they've always kind of made junk, you know? But, you know, with them, it's the case of you get what you pay for. You know, their stuff has always been cheap, so, like... You know, I can't complain about a crappy clone system that's got NES and Super Nintendo when it's only $40 or something like that. Like... It fills a niche, and, you know, it gets the job done for that. Hell, I used to use, the Retro Duo quite a bit. You know, in the early days of my YouTube channel, before I invested in another Super Nintendo again, and another NES again, I just bought a clone system. You know? And it actually really suited me well for a while. And then I was like, you know, I'm just gonna buy the original consoles again. Yeah, Mighty Squirrel, well, you know where you can find me, man. You've got me on Facebook now, so just shoot me a message over on Facebook. And, you know, if you have any questions about the upscalers and stuff like that, or anything, you know, related to my setup, I can totally help you out, man. So... Oh, that controller for the Wii Mighty Squirrel, that's probably an official Nintendo product, so I mean, I would expect high quality from them. Hey, Sinful. The RetroLink USB classic gaming controllers you've tried, pretty much all cheaply made. Rubber bringing buttons back up, always cracking within a week. Ah, that sounds awful. Have you ever played this War of Mine, Austin? I have not, Waspinator. And David K says this is a gorgeous level. It really is. It's just an awesome looking level. I love those transparent ghosts too. The little cracks in the ground, things like that. Yeah, my only issue, I mean, one of my issues, Matthew, with the 8-bit Do controllers is that there's a lot of people out there that think they're pretty much like an exact replica of the original controllers, which they're not. You know, they got a different feel in the plastic. The buttons aren't, they don't, you know, they're not as, God, what's the term? I don't know. The buttons feel a little stiff compared to the original buttons. And then the D-pad, the parts they use for the D-pad, you can end up pressing multiple directions at the same time, which is not a good trait to have for a, you know, retro style controller. And that's a common issue with, you know, third-party controllers, unfortunately. Yeah, I had a feeling I'd get hit by that. So basically, the controllers aren't very good for, like, shoot-em-ups and things like that. Anything with 8-way movement, the controllers are not ideal for, unfortunately. Nice, got them both. Yeah, honestly, for me, back when I first played it, I was really impressed with just the very first main area you go to, where like the gate comes up in the background. Like, I had never seen anything like that in a video game. It was amazing. And then being able to walk back and forth between, you know, the background and foreground. Darth Adios, I'm pretty sure you can jump on any money chest 225 times. And you'll get something. Remember Nintendo Power back in the day, like, posting this level like a very specific section on this level in particular for some meat. But it turns out you could do it on, I think, on pretty much any chest, if you had the patience. Now, there might be one that specifically gives you an extra life, but, I mean, I've got 7 lives. I mean, I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do it. Hey, Nihilist, how you doing? Yeah, it's really nice. We're seeing some people in here that normally can't catch me on Thursday nights, which is pretty cool. So, you know, if you guys enjoy this, maybe I'll have to mix things up here with some more unannounced streams in the future. Early Tuesday morning streams, I should say. You're getting married, Tony? What? It's lunchtime in North Ireland, so Davey's over in Ireland. Very cool. Right on, Sinful. Sinful doesn't like schedules, apparently. I mean... okay. Sinful doesn't like knowing when he can catch me. He'd rather it be a totally random thing. And that's cool, Sinful. Although I have a feeling it's not going to be terribly random. I mean, it'll be random like when I decide to go live, but chances are it'll just be on a Tuesday morning, because it's really one of the only times I'll be free to do a impromptu live stream like this. I mean, potentially Mondays, but I mean, oops, I didn't want to do that. But I mean, Monday's probably not good because I post a Let's Play on Sundays, so people are still trying to catch up with that. So. Whoa! What the hell just happened? Some really weird things happening in this playthrough. I mean, it makes it interesting for you guys, but it just kind of like makes me scratch my head. Like, what is going on? Play Asia still has some left, limited to 3,000. Hey, later, Davey K. Well, thanks for stopping in. Ghostblade, it's on PS4, right? I mean, I have it on Xbox One digitally. And I was aware that they were making one for PS4 physically, but I didn't know it was actually out yet. It's an alright game. It's, you know, I paid $10 for it. I like it. I probably wouldn't have paid any more for it. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of an old jaded snob when it comes to my shmups. Well, congratulations, Tony, on your announcement. And I hope it goes well for you, dude. I should ask, does the significant other also play video games? That's what I was told earlier, Tony. Someone said all the pre-orders are already sold out, so... I mean, I don't know how true that is. I haven't actually checked myself. I assumed pre-orders wouldn't even be a thing yet, because... the first article I read said pre-orders weren't even up yet, so I didn't even bother to look for pre-orders, but... you know, if they are in fact available, or were available, and they're, you know, they're all taken already, then that's annoying, because I did want to try to pre-order one this time. Again, I missed out on the NES Classic, and I have a greater need for the SNES Classic. Whoops, that was close. This part's always a little bit of a pain. It's best to just kind of stop here and take that part slowly. Edward Robinson says this is his favorite Castlevania of all time, even though it pisses him off sometimes. Are you getting better at multitasking in life? What with playing, talking, and reading at the same time? Sinful, no, I am not, unfortunately. I don't think doing these live streams has actually really helped me in any way, shape, or form in terms of, like, my daily living. Like, it hasn't made me a better chef, or it hasn't, like, made me more aware when I'm driving on the roads or something like that. Like... It'd be really cool if it did, though. I just became like this Superman from streaming all the time. In reality, I think streaming's actually made me a dumber person. I think that's just the actual real-world result. It's made me lazier and dumber as a result. But I still have fun doing it, and that's what counts. I mean, the amount of video games I'm playing, I think, is rather unhealthy. If I told a doctor how many video games I played a week, he'd be like, yeah, go kill yourself now, because you're hopeless. No, I'm just kidding. He'd be like, you're gonna have to cut back on your video game playback, sir. It's attributing to your health negatively. Oh, and here's a pill for that. Darthadius, this level can be really problematic if you're terrible at pressing up. If you're really good at pressing up, it's actually not very difficult. I mean, you also have to press left and right occasionally, but it's mostly up. At least in the first half, it's mostly pressing up. Well, right on, Sinful. I hope you're enjoying playing your video games. But, like I said before, we're always glad to have you, dude. You're always fun to talk to. So, whenever you can hang out here, we like to have you. You know what's funny? Red Dwarf is, I thought about actually doing Doom. I was originally going to come home and play some Doom on Twitch. And then I was like, let me try this, let me try to do an impromptu YouTube stream and see how people react to that. And, but I've done a lot of Doom on my YouTube channel recently, so I want to try to take a break from Doom, at least a few weeks. I mean, I do want to do another live stream featuring Doom on YouTube, but like I said, I'm going to give it a few weeks at least. So the thing about this channel is I don't want to turn it into a strictly Doom channel as much as I would like to, because then I'm going to end up just losing interest in other areas, you know. Got lots of different people here that follow me for different reasons, and so I have to try to mix things up a little bit. Doing this little impromptu stream kind of helps me with that too. I mean, granted, it is a live stream, and not everyone's here for the live stream, but I mean, these live streams, in a lot of cases, are also just like my Let's Plays. You know, it's just me talking about the game, and except now I'm talking with you guys too. So, almost the same thing. Yeah, so we're finally getting Star Fox 2, and I'm really interested to see what that's like. I mean, I've seen videos on the existing repro versions you can get, but I've always just wanted to play it myself and see what it's like. I don't know why I never thought to do that before when fighting death. Just use the cross. Man, it dishes out so much damage so quickly. Oh, okay, Red Dwarf. I'm East Coast, United States, so I'm about 5 or 6 hours behind you. Actually, 5 hours specifically. You said 2 p.m.? Yeah, it's a little past 9 for me. So what I normally do is I stream Thursday nights Eastern Time at 9 p.m., so that's about 2 a.m. your time. But I work the overnight shift at work, and so I get off work at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Whoops. Huh. Haven't done that in a long time. And for the other people on the other side of the world, I figured maybe I would, you know, try to stream occasionally in the mornings when I come home from work. You know, since a lot of you guys can't catch me on Thursdays when I stream. Alright, Dracula, that's just trolling. Teleporter right on top of me. Oh, it just flew off. It's okay. Listen, I don't really care how hard it is to get the SNES Classic as long as Nintendo keeps making them. If they keep making them, prices are going to eventually go down. The scalpers aren't going to win out in the end. That was the big problem with the NES Classic. Like, more were starting to get out there. Demand was coming down slightly, and then Nintendo just discontinued it, and prices just skyrocketed overnight. So, I mean, as long as, like, they keep making them, they don't just stop like they did with the NES Classic, then there's not going to be a problem. Yeah, it's going to be hard to get one for a while. But as long as everyone eventually has the chance to get one at MSRP, that's, I think, all that matters. And I wouldn't jump to the conclusion, say they're trying to create an artificial shortage. We don't know that. We don't know how many they're actually physically able to pump out. They're also trying to manufacture the Switch at the moment. They're still making 3DSs and the new 2DS. Like, there's a whole bunch of products they've got, and, you know, I don't know how many factories they have. They might be limited in what they can produce at any given time. So I wouldn't be so quick to jump on the Nintendo's making artificial shortages bandwagon. You know, give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, basically. So thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate it. Pi 3000. It's 3 p.m. there in Spain. Beautiful weather too. Very nice. What are you doing inside? I think Nintendo never keeps up with supply and demand because it's freaking Nintendo. Everybody wants their products, and so their products actually sell really, really fast. I mean, unlike Sony and Microsoft, Nintendo has got decades upon decades of a fan base to work upon, and nostalgia to feed off of, and yeah, I'm in a wait and see mode. Just, you know, wait and see what happens. Now, if they discontinue it quickly, like they did the NES Classic, okay, I'll legitimately be angry, because I want to get one. And I'm not paying, you know, over MSRP for one. It's why I don't have an NES Classic. I'm not paying over MSRP, just, over for it. You know? So... some people are really giving into it. One guy on one forum I read said he dropped like $200 on one. He was like, but I really wanted it, and yeah. So like, okay, it's your money, you know. I don't know, your money. If you think those 30 games are worth it, or if you hack it, you know, maybe it is worth it. But I don't know. I think just on principle, you shouldn't support people that are trying to charge $200 for that thing, just on principle alone. But not everyone sees things that way, so... yeah, Red Dwarf, apparently the controller wire is now 5 feet. So still not very long, but it's longer than the 2.5 feet from... was it 2.5 feet on the NES Classic? Yeah, so once the ending's over, we're gonna switch over to Dracula X for Super Nintendo, as the thumbnail indicates. And we'll try to run through that in one sitting. Very nice, Mighty Squirrel. All right. And let's hope this doesn't freeze on us like it did on Twitch. What? A week or two ago? Was it this weekend? I don't remember. Yeah, it was this weekend, actually. Man. Dracula X on Super Nintendo, I do not think is underrated, no. And it's definitely not better than Rondo. So yeah, I mean, I do like this game, but I think it's one of the weaker Castlevania games. I don't want to actually just get this started off in that direction immediately. I know some of you guys don't like me complaining about some of these games we play, but that was just to answer Sinful's question. I mean, I think it's still a solid game, but it's one of the weaker Castlevanias. There's some people in like the hardcore gaming community that really love this game, and I think they kind of give it more credit than it deserves. But that's just me. So, okay, so there we go. I was actually just testing the audio. Alright, let me flip my headphones back over so I can hear the game. Oh, definitely Rondo. Well, I mean, on stream, I actually play Dracula X on Super Nintendo more just because it's usually more easily accessible. It's like, I do a lot of Super Nintendo streaming, so it's easier to fire this one up, but, you know, in terms of my own personal game time, I definitely play Rondo more. You know, again, like I said, it's the better game by a long shot. There's so much more to do in Rondo. It feels more fluid. The soundtrack's better. The gameplay is just way more smooth in Rondo. You know, there's more going on too in terms of the enemy patterns and designs and things like that. Well, like I said, I think this is still a solid little game. For me personally, it's kind of tough to come to this after playing Super Castlevania IV. And even just really any other Castlevania. I mean, there's a lot less going on in this game. It's, funny enough, it's more simplistic than even like the first Castlevania on NES. Definitely way more simplistic than Castlevania 3 on NES. Definitely more simplistic than Bloodlines on the Genesis. And unbelievably simplistic compared to Rondo on the PC Engine. So yeah, Matthew, I mean, the Rondo soundtrack is amazing. There's just so much good music in there. You know, maybe I would like Dracula X on Super Nintendo more if there was a second loop with a higher difficulty setting, but there's not. Which is really odd because, you know, Castlevania 1, Castlevania 3, even Castlevania 4, Bloodlines, you know, they've got second loops. I guess Rondo technically doesn't have a second loop, but it's got so much replay value with the alternate paths and stuff like that. A second loop with a higher difficulty mode might have helped the fact that this is a more simplistic Castlevania game. You know, people that are really all about the difficulty can try to go back and play it on a harder mode, but it doesn't exist. So not only do you not have higher difficulty, which might add replay value for more skilled players, you also don't really have the alternate pathways and things like that. I mean, you have one alternate path you can take in this game, which is actually mandatory if you want to get the best ending. So if you're trying to get the best ending, is it really an alternate path? So there's not, you know, there's no harder difficulty mode. There's also a very, very minimal amount of alternate ways you can play through the game. And thus, just compared to Rondo, it's no damage bonus, extra life. I don't think I've ever done that before. Just compared to Rondo, it's just, yeah, it's like night and day in the wrong direction. But like I said, I still like it. I mean, it's why I still play it on stream. If I didn't like this game very much, I would not play it on stream as much as I do, so... It's just not my go-to Castlevania game. It's not the Castlevania I recommend to people when they want to get into the series, so... Yeah, being able to play as Maria in this would have been kind of nice. That would have added a little bit of extra replay value. Anyone hyped for the Atari box? I am not, Red Dwarf. I didn't even think there's a whole lot of information on it yet. But try to get the alternate path. I will, Sinful. I'll probably fail at it. Because you've got to get a key. And... you gotta get a key, and then you have to get to a boss with said key. You have to not die at said boss with said key. Easier said than done. And that's usually the part I fail at. And then after that, you've got to keep said key through the next level. It's confusing. But yeah, we'll definitely try it. I tried it over the weekend when I played this on Twitch, and I failed. But we'll try it again, obviously. Oh, that didn't connect. I thought this could connect. Let's try it again. Nope. Sinful, I assume you've played this game before? Oh, that wasn't good. Oh, okay. So you have played it, you just wanted to hear my thoughts on it. Gotcha, that's cool. Yeah, I've been trying to find out more about Atari Box, and there's nothing on it, yeah. Been years in the making, but nothing known about it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think my excitement for it's gonna really depend on what it actually is. Honestly, though, I'm not a huge fan of modern Atari. I mean, it's not the same Atari that we knew back in the day. That Atari folded in, what, like 95 or 96 or so with the Jaguar. And, whoever owns the Atari name now is, they haven't been very nice to certain people in the homebrew community. And, so even, you know, once more details are available on the device, I still might not have any desire to support them with how they've been to some of these long-running Atari community members. Guys that have basically kept the name and, you know, the collecting alive. The new quote-unquote Atari has not been very cool to them. So when you read articles saying Atari is back, no, Atari isn't back. Atari's long gone. What's back is someone had some money, they bought the name, and they're coming up with a new product with said name on it, trying to make more money. It's not the Atari you knew. Never will be. Do you remember Andrew Davey, Mighty Squirrel? Remember he was one of the bigger names in the Atari scene. They went after his website and basically made him shut it down. It had like Atari in the name or like VCS or something stupid like that. Like, that's just one of the examples. I know there's more examples where they were being really dickish about their IP. So yeah. That's why I'm very lukewarm on the idea of the Atari box. So I could have actually just skipped that whole section. You can actually jump off some of the bone pillars and just get right up top. And it's one of my other issues with this game is that, like, some of the level design just wasn't really well thought out. And there's a couple instances in this game where you can just skip sections completely. It would be one thing if it, like, required a damage boost, you know, required some level of skill. But the skips in this require 0 skill. You just jump up and that's it. And you skip the section. So it's one of my big gripes with this game. Alright, so right here, I'm gonna use the axe. You can sort of just do it off screen before those guys recognize that you're there. And this is the jumping part that Sinful was talking about. There's gonna also be a key here. I'm gonna... Oh, okay, there he goes. We'll go ahead and use this. Let's kill that Medusa head. So the item crash is definitely useful in certain parts in this game. And one of the nice things is between levels... Ooh, that was close. Your hearts don't reset. Is the key? The key's here, right? It's been a while since I've actually done this. Holy water, there's the key. Okay. Key is mandatory. Unfortunately... you can't use your item crash now with just the key. Richter will just be like, huh? I messed up my backflip. So you can actually backflip in this game too by double tapping the jump button. I was gonna try to backflip off of that, but Did it exactly work? I think he's gonna lunge. Oh, I still got hit by that? Really? Alright, so we're gonna die. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, the hitbox is really awful on this boss. So there we go, I just messed up. Oh, I can still get the key. Alright, maybe it's not so bad after all. There we go. Yeah, bloody tears, here we go. Alright, that was good. Oh, and there was meat there. I didn't realize that. Oh, good to know. Yeah, exactly, Mighty Score. That's why I'm not really that interested in it. And people that get really hyped about it, I just kind of want to let them know who you're actually supporting. But, you know, I'm a big fan of Atari's early stuff. You know, the Atari 2600 was the first console I technically ever played. My parents owned one when I was born, and we had it until, you know, a year or two after we bought the NES. And then I eventually owned a 7800. You know, I've had multiple Atari Lynxes. I have a Jaguar. I've had multiple Jaguars. So it's like, I have an Atari ST. I'm a fan of, you know, Atari from back in the day, but the modern quote-unquote Atari, again, it's just someone with money purchased the name and then going after people, you know, that aren't using the name how they like. And one of the only things really keeping the name relevant is, you know, the homebrew community over the last, you know, several decades. The homebrew and collecting community. You know the guys that like developed the original Atari Flashback? They were part of that community as well. So I mean, without a lot of these guys, you wouldn't have had the some of the already successful products. It's all because of that homebrew and hobbyist community. Now, it's actually been a long time since I've been to this level, so if I die, well, that's going to mess everything up, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. And with this, god-awful knockback in this game and no invincibility frames, it's going to be very easy to die. Trying to play it relatively safe. I need that. Please don't go away. Thank you. Alright, question Sinful. Do I still need to keep the key, or is it gone? I forget. So I guess that was Maria, right? Yeah, I think I still need to keep the key. At least I got my health back, which is nice. There's way too many enemies here. So one of the tricks you can use in this game, though, is by pressing down, you won't get knocked back if you're ducking. Fleamen are really annoying when you don't have any sub-weapons. Oh, come on. Alright, whatever. Let's just skip that. Tony, no, I'm pretty sure that you do. Yeah, so use the key to go to this area, and this is where you find the other maiden. Now, the key is obviously not required here now, which is good. I'm glad they used this tune in this level, because it's one of the more peaceful tunes in the original Rondo. So that's pretty cool. Yes, Sinful, I don't think I've ever actually been here on a live stream, so this is pretty cool. And isn't there, like, some kind of pillar I need to bash open? I don't think it's any of these, but... There's a lot more enemies than I remember. What the hell is going on? How many lives? Oh, 7 lives. Wow. Yeah, it's this part. You gotta bash open a certain section on this area. It's one of the few, if not only, auto-scrolling sections in the whole game. I don't think there are any other auto-scrollers, are there? I think this is pretty much it. Where is it, Sinful? To the bottom left after the water rise. Okay, I'm gonna sit here for a minute until Sinful responds. Did I miss it already? Do I have to go back? I'd like to go ahead and get it while we're here. Dance, 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 dance. Go to the next section. Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to miss it because this is the kind of game where when you go back, you can't. You're done. You know, potentially unless you get a game over. There we go. Very cool. Thanks for the help, guys. I appreciate it. So, not only have I not done that in a while, but you guys also got to see it. Ah, it's this boss. That's right. This can actually be the first boss in Rondo, depending on which route you take. Okay, Troll Bird. And I still missed. Jeez. Got some wall meat though, that's good. Got an extra life too. A little low on hearts. Yeah, I'm basically just having to relearn this level over again. It's been so long since I've been here. That's what happens when you don't go back to these games frequently. Wrecked. Yeah, the boss isn't really that much different. Which I'm not complaining about. I think it was a pretty solid boss in the original. See, that was my chance right there. Oops. There we go. Do his bones come back up? They probably do. Yep. That should come up in a different... I thought in the other one they come up like in a normal pattern and then just fall to bones and they fall down. I don't remember. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for the help, like I said. Alright, so this is the final stage. Actually, no, it's not. Second to last level. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, so having the axe is actually the better weapon right here because of these birds. And I think that's actually normally the weapon I have by this point. But since I took the alternate path, I have a totally different weapon now. Which is killing me. So this is another part you can just totally skip. This is kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Of course, we might have actually ended up missing some wall meat as a result, but it's okay. Yeah, dead. If you get hit and then the enemy just like rolls right back on top of you, you know, you just have to take the damage pretty much. It's one of the things that makes this more tricky than other Castlevania games. And I think it's one of the factors that leads people to usually believe that this is one of the more difficult Castlevania games in the series. Come on, I know you can hit it. There we go. Yeah, it is a good-looking game, Tony. I don't think it's as good-looking as it could have been. Like, this level actually looks pretty good with, like, the moving backgrounds, but there's a lot of levels in this game that just have very flat backgrounds. So by this point in the series, you know, the series had, like, scrolling backgrounds and things like that. You can just look at Super Castlevania IV and Bloodlines. There's a lot going on in those backgrounds. This screen is kind of the exception to the rule. You know, same with like the first level screen. I really love the fire in the background on the first level in this game. But, they didn't really go like balls out with the background effects in this game. This level definitely looks good though. Probably could have done without such a muted color palette on this stage in particular, but you know, the background animation kind of makes up for it. Waiting for this thing to come back down. Is it going to? I don't trust it. So we're gonna try to backflip off this dude. Oh, mistimed it. Do it again. Oh, mistimed it again. You could probably just jump over them normally. I don't think you need to backflip. Ah. Alright, good stuff. We're at the boss now. And I think there's going to be an extra life here as well. I do like when you bash like the wall open, it actually physically looks like it's breaking apart. That's pretty cool. The backflip does allow you to go a tiny bit higher, Tony, so it is necessary if you want to try to do certain skips. Yeah, but it looks cool. Alright, so now we're going to actually fight death. Which I haven't actually fought death in a while. In this version. Death is not one of those bosses you fight every game. You have to go the alternate way if you want to get to him. And that was a waste. But we'll do it again anyway! Oh, that didn't do anything. Oh, just a little bit. Okay. Wow, I got lucky. Yeah, it is a different boss, Tony, if you get here without taking the alternate path and saving the girls. No, that's funny. Yeah, it is 3 o'clock where you are. That's awesome, Red Dwarf. Alright, so this is actually the final stage. Hey, Amadeus. Oh, come on. Sinful, what issues do you have with the final stage? Just out of curiosity. I know it sounds like we probably both have vastly different opinions on this game overall as a whole. So I'm curious to know what you think about the final stage. Extra life. 9 lives, wow. I don't normally ever have that many lives in this game. Alright, this is pretty much the last stretch right here, if I recall correctly. Yep. Done already. Alright, so I always like to go with the axe when I do this final boss. Doesn't even feel like a full stage. Yeah, I agree. Alright, let's see how many times this is going to take us, because this can be quite the pain. I'm probably just going to save my axe for the second form. Oh, I got hit. A Revenge of Shinobi stream. No, simply because I'm terrible at that game. I mean, I am going to stream it on Twitch sometime to try to finally finish it for the first time. And then once I finish it for the first time, after I do a Let's Play, then yeah, that's when I would consider doing a stream on it. But YouTube, I generally won't stream games that I'm not that good at, unless it's like a variety stream. Where I do one of those streams where I just play a console, then play a ton of different games from it. Kind of like I did with my Neo Geo CD stream, or the Game Boy Advance stream. That's not good. Yeah, see, normally he doesn't drop down to this lower pillar. He just kind of, like, stays higher up. And I use the axe when he throws his fireballs down, but as you can tell, it didn't really work too well. And I was trying to get to the other side so I can get the meat. There's a candle with some meat, which is why I stay on this side, because I don't want to accidentally hit that candle. Yeah, this boss takes so long. So long. It makes dying feel even worse because it just takes so long to get through this fight. I mean, it's definitely a challenge. Like, this is one of those boss fights where, like, my hands actually get sweaty. Item crash for the win. No health needed. I don't think I've ever item crashed him as the last blow, the final blow. Does Rondo make my hands sweaty? Not really. Not in the same sense. I mean, Rondo's got some tricky parts, but it's definitely not as difficult towards the end of the game. Yeah, thanks, Sinful, and thank you for the tips again. I probably would have missed it if you guys weren't out there helping me. Jeez, look at the ghoul on the right. Trying to stay positive here, guys. Trying to stay positive here. Yeah, I like the rendition of the tune they use, because they use it basically as like the title screen of the 64 Castlevania games. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. This was, like I said, a totally impromptu stream. And we got to play some Castlevania IV and Dracula X. So that's pretty much going to do it for this stream, guys. What I might actually end up doing is hopping on over to Twitch and playing some classic Doom. If any of you guys want to hang out and see some classic Doom, you know, go follow me over at Twitch. Or for those of you guys that are followed on Twitch, feel free to head over there and hang out some more. Twitch information's in the description box below if you guys are interested in that. And let me know, for anyone like just tuning in or someone tuning in after the fact on the archive, let me know if you want me to do more impromptu streams like this, particularly like on Tuesdays. Like, I want to space out my content, and I want to do more content, like different content that is posted on Tuesdays. Like last week I posted the unboxing for Major Havoc, which I meant to do a while ago, but it gave you guys something to watch on Tuesday. And hopefully this live stream gives you something to watch on this Tuesday. Whether you're watching live or in the past broadcast. So right on, Red Dwarf. I totally understand, and that's why I think it's kind of cool to be able to stream at different times, so you guys can, that aren't able to catch me on Thursdays, can check out the live experience. So, but yeah, sound off again in the comments once the archive's posted. I'd really appreciate it. And you know, for those of you guys that don't comment, I hope you guys still enjoy the archive and enjoy the playthroughs and the conversations we had during this session. And I'll see you guys on Thursday with another dedicated Thursday night stream. I'm not sure what I'm going to stream yet, but I'll be figuring it out over the next day or two. So Amadeus is going to be Doom on PC. So, but alrighty guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.